Create team, join me. Have already joined. Okay. Got it. Okay, got it. Click on stream to social media. Join event. हाँ ठीक है ऑलरेडी साइन कर पाऊँ चलो तो मेरे नाम को हाँ yeah now I can see it in my laptop and can join the event. Perfect. Okay. So I'll be once again like cancel button. Assalam. Okay, perfect. Alhamdulillah. Second. Can you hear me, Sholbhai?
Yes. How about you?
Okay. Alhamdulillah, all clear. So let's go live. So by the way, in any of your social media handles, if the questions are coming, it will come all centralized here in one place.
Okay.
So you'll be able to see, inshallah. So other than that, Radia, if there is anything, please send a message here for us so that we can see in the private chat. Okay? Since you can hear. Yeah, started the live. Okay. So have you made it live?
I think it's already on. It's already
Perfect.
live.
Perfect. Okay. So let's go. So Shahul bhai, thank you so much for being a part of the live session.
Thank you
And
so much.
this is first of its kind which we're doing on the theme building success. So today we look forward to have you with us on board, and we'll want our audience to understand a little bit about you. You've been a very successful architect yourself, and we look forward to see what are the challenges you face and how you have built your business around the whole architecture industry. So to start off with, please let our audience know a little bit about how you came up in your from your childhood and how did your interest come into architecture. A little bit about your family and from where you belong, and your journey towards your college and what brought you into architecture.
Okay. Um, from my childhood, I born in a successful business family where my grandfather started his business with. He was a timber merchant and he was doing multiple business as well. And from my childhood, I was very fond of him. I used to travel with him, and that travel which made me to become an entrepreneur. So I, from a very childhood, I want to become an entrepreneur. So that is what in my mind. So during the schooling, I was quite good at the artistic way where I used to sketch and I used to draw. So, but I never know that I will become an architect. But I had something different in my mind. So once you are in your high school, where there I thought I should pursue the career in architecture because I found it quite different, and I thought this will make me interest all over my life. So that interest which I got as a spark in my mind, so which I followed with my passion. And then I joined architecture blindly without knowing what it would be. And every day, the college gives me a different learning. So this learning, which I learned during my college, was really new, which I never had that experience before. Like, even though I kept traveling with my uncles and my grandfathers, with my dads, stuff like that, but I never had that creative thing which interests me every day. So that learning experience was very good, which made me more passionate towards the design. So this is how I wanted to start something by my own, and I started thinking how to start, and then I started working in different places during my college days. And I also had some training programs. I went for an internship as per my academy. Apart from that, I also started working with more engineers and architects, and during my college days, after my college gets over, or even during Saturdays and Sundays, so which gave me a proper sculpted uh, career path, so which was able to discover during the course of the process. Like, there is no the direction was very clear, the goal was very clear, but the process was like when you meet someone and then they try to give you some an idea, and then you think that is very interesting, and then you start doing it, and then you learn it, and then you try it out, and then your career has a different magically it gives you a path where you can try it out. So this is something which followed me, and I was able to learn things during the course of my life, and then I was able to be stronger in my career. So this is how it is.
Understood. So you're the first generation architect in your family, is it? I mean,
Yes.
have you had anyone in your family who has been an architect before?
No.
No. Okay.
In fact, I'm the first professional graduate in my family.
Oh wow. Okay. So from a
So
family
they,
of business.
yeah. So everyone were in my family business, even my uncles and my father and everyone. But the professional course, I'm the first person who did the professional course, like 5 year degree, and it was they were like, oh, 5 years. How come? So how you, so you keep studying so much, and even after studying my bachelor, I started doing my master's. So they got pissed off. Why you're doing another 2 years of masters? So this was new to them, and they had a fair idea about architecture because they are into the business. They know how architects works, but they never know how difficult it would be as a career to
Okay.
grab it in the earlier stage, because they have seen architects who are like they are matured architects who are like 30-20 years elder, already in the business, and interior design, they are very much fond of interior designers. So when we tell something about architect, so they misunderstood with engineer, civil engineer, and interior designer, but they don't know what the architect actually do.
Okay. Mashallah. So having said that, I just wanted to know a little bit of your experience on how you joined college. Which college did you study into? I'm sure it was Miyasi, if I'm not
Yeah,
wrong.
I did my bachelor from Miyasi, and I should say it is a luck which they gave me a portion of seat.
So I'm sure that would have been a very memorable experience from being the first graduate in your family to
True,
getting into Miyasi,
true.
and most it'll be a very memorable experience for you, mashallah. You would like to share anything from your college life, which probably plays a very vital role in your career today? Something
See,
which you learned there.
the college was really good, and the professors and the college itself was made in such a way that you will learn more in architecture. So we had our director called Mr. Altaf Ahmed, who was the brain of the entire college. So he was very good in structuring those academical um, syllabus, and he was very good in selecting the professors who will teach us. So I think the college itself was very good, and even the junior and senior interaction was very good. And I still have so many seniors who we collaborate and we work together. Like when I joined first year, and there were few seniors who were in the fifth year, and from I like when we were in the second year, they passed out, right? So from then onwards, we were in regular touch, and now we have already been collaborated for last 10 years.
Oh,
So there are
mashallah.
few of my seniors who have been well collaborated, and more than see, now we are like brothers. So that is how we have been in the industry now. So any one of them name me or name them, we know each other very well. So they can say, "Oh no, I know Shahul." Oh yeah, this is how the answer comes when you say something about me, or when they say some about my seniors. I used to say, "Yeah, yeah, we have worked together. We have done this project." So the collaboration was also very good, and it's still there. And apart from that, we had an alumni where. I was also a part of alumni, and we have a very good interaction with between the seniors and juniors. We keep exchanging ideas, and we keep talking about the industry or the issues, or if they want to have some knowledge sharing, we keep doing it technically or non-technically. So also we make some small meetups, and there is some event which will dedicatedly happen for architects. So that time we used to meet, and then we will have a very small get together talk about the industry and stuff like that. So
That's great. That's great. So, Shaul, I like to ask a few questions from your journey, and I would request you to give us your experience and share your experience for your audience in regards with the challenges you faced in this industry and how you overcame those challenges and many other things. So, the first question which we have received is in our research and understanding of the architectural industry, we have noticed that it's uniquely intertwined with creativity and entrepreneurship. As a successful figure in this field, could you share your insights about this dynamic synergy?
So the architecture industry is more about creative, as you said, and to keep up your like identify. You want to have that visibility into the market as an architect. You have to uh, discover your own creativity. Like there are how do you say, when you meet up a client, the client are the first um, uh, clue point where they themselves come up with so many ideas, and functionally and psychologically they would wanted something. And when you were able to understand what they really needed, and when you add all those points together and when you give them something creative, and that is where I could say you will be able to win the projects every time. So we get clients and they have an idea, sometimes very crazy ideas, sometimes very blunt ideas. So they don't know what they really require. So such situation, you need to have to propose to them with more of your experience that you had undergone earlier, and then you say this way, if we give you this, you will be able to be like this, so your lifestyle can improve, you can improve, your functionality in the spaces will be improved. Like if a blunt idea client who come here and they don't know how their bedroom should look like, so it is a very toughest job for us to also give them something.
Mhm.
Like when there is someone who have with a clue, they say white color paint, I require white or blue, or some paint color or some furniture which they require. So it's easiest to job where you can just your creativity is very less where you have to put, and you can successfully give something very faster. But
Mhm.
when it is your client who comes with no idea, so there is where you need to experiment more on whatever you want to do. So you need to take more brainstorming session, you need to understand them, you need to see whether you will get a clue where you will be able to throw them an beautiful creative ideas, so that they will lifelong they will remember you, and they will say. So some of the clients whom we have worked before, they have no idea how certain solution has to be. Like if there is a column, they don't know how to treat a column. So when you give them a beautiful idea, and when you sketch and show them this is how it will look, and you can have this, you can have this item, or you can use this element in your spaces like this. So there is where they will try to connect you with more of an psychologically, emotionally than with the element. So the element which you throw to them, the connection which they come up is where you win the project very easily.
Okay, interesting. But the biggest challenge which I've seen generally with architects these days is every client wants to talk to 4 5 architects.
Correct.
And when you go to meet them and when you very passionately share some idea, there are chances that they would take that idea and go to someone else and try to get a better price or try to get it done faster. So, how do you win over this sort of a competitive disadvantage, I would say?
Okay. Even I had faced these situation earlier, but now if I could say, after certain experience, when you meet so many clients and when you started designing a project, so you will know whether the client will really come to you. Like how it is. See, the client comes to you based on your design style, which they like on you. And sometimes the client may like your design, but they may feel that your fees is quite high, or they think that if they can get some ideas from you and some ideas from few other architects, and they can club together, and they think that they will create a better space. So these are client way of thinking it, but we need to educate client before we start a project, how we will design, how we will give them the deliverables, how the step deliverables will be, and what all they will get from us, and what all they can ask us, and where we will stand them to solve us a problem, and why they are paying us this much, and by paying us what they will get in return. So we need to give them a clarity not only in the earlier stage of the project, but throughout the project till the completion. Even after
Understood.
the completion, if you try to give them the same the same way of an connection, where you will reveal some of the new trends and some of the ideas that you have done for some other clients, so there is where the client started coming back to you again and again, where this competition doesn't matter really. And there are every architect has their set of own clients where they will come back again and again to them with more of comfort, and they can get any type of a design from you. And there are certain architects who really good at creative ideas, but during the execution or technical, they may not be so fantastically good like how they proposed earlier. So this is life. This is a process where it keeps improving. So we cannot judge anyone so earlier. So we don't have to really worry about the competitors, because we are ourselves very unique, and the client who comes to us is also unique to us.
That's great. So, in this modern world where the technology is being so advanced and everyone thinks that they know the best, and access to technology and designs become so easy, how do you keep up to the trend when it comes to the latest designing concepts and designing ideas? Because everyone has their own different style. So you have European style, Western style, Indian style. In India itself, you have approximately so many states with different styles. So how are you having that competitive edge when it comes to absorbing new concepts and designs with such fast trends?
Yeah, okay. So when there is so many trend which keep changing, you need to be updated really to understand what the trend is actually about. And when the client have no idea about the trend, but they want some of the trends to be implemented in their project, first of all, you need to educate them whether the trend is actually would be able to apply to their project, whether the trend will look really good for them or it is not. And apart from this, um, being more trendy in the project is really up to any architect who designed it, so and the client who accept it. So there are two combination where you keep see the design itself a huge process where till you start and till the end you keep having so many brainstorming, and then you apply, you will be flexibly adding some creative ideas, you will be removing it again, you will be adding it. So this trend which they start earlier, sometimes they both may not know whether it is same or it gets changed. So it depends on the client and the architect throughout the project how they work on it. And if you are really good at the new trends which is coming up, so there are not so different to adapt. It is very easy to adapt. In fact, it is all about your creativity, and sometimes the trend itself, it's very easy for you to know whether your project requires it. So there are few elements which you added, it becomes a trendy. So something like that. So for example, if the client wants to come up with a Chettinadu houses, so there are certain elements where the Chettinadu building itself has it. So when you try to take those elements and apply on your project, and you should have only one um, way of experimenting it, whether the application of your elements is perfectly good. So as an architect, you should be able to have that uh, visual thinking whether this will be good in this area, like if it's a column or if it's an element from the Chettinadu architecture where you take it in the interior or in the exterior, the way you apply the material, whether it will look massive, it looks great, it looks good in terms of coloring or in terms of making it proportionate, or repeating the element with rhythmically to express the building itself. So this is actually very easy when you adapt a trend to a building. Sometimes you may confuse and you may miss out the direction also. So adapting to the trend, it's actually good for some of the project and it is not good for some of the project. That is how I would say.
Interesting, interesting. So the next question which we have received is: in our discussions with the industry leaders, business challenges often emerge as a common theme. As an architect turned entrepreneur, how do you view these challenges, and what unique solutions does your architectural perspective provide? What do you think are the biggest challenges in the architectural industry today, and how do you think it can be overcome?
Today, see, some of the corporate companies have already emerged into the market for designing and for execution. I could see that is a positive way and also a negative way. And as an architect, we learn so much about the architectural design, but we miss out on learning how an entrepreneurship should be or how the business should happen. Technically, if you ask me, I may very good at design, I may very good at technically expressing the ideas, and I may even be able to give a good detail to execute the project, but I may not be good at financial part where an entrepreneur requires more about it. So when you take up a role as an entrepreneur, I feel you should also get knowledge and education about an entrepreneurship before you start something.
Okay.
So about business financing, company operations, managing the team, and running out your everyday accounting, day books, and all this stuff. So I think, like a CEO, apart from your design, you should also be able to manage your business separately. So if you are like good at both, then it's a different scenario. But if definitely an architect who being an entrepreneur may miss out on this entrepreneurship journey, right? They may not know how to manage this managemental skill. So you need to learn them, or you need to have a collaboration with a good manager who can take care of the manager operation. So I think either you need to hire someone, or you need to collaborate with someone, or you have to be uh, rider for both together.
Understood. Understood. So, reflecting on your previous, on our previous conversations with entrepreneurs, resilience stands out as a key trait. Could you share a particular instance where you had to exhibit business resilience in your journey with Isra Designs and Infratech? So, one
Okay.
example which you had with some client, which was a memorable experience, and resilience helped you come across.
See, sometimes the experience will teach you. Sometimes you need to have some advisors, a mentor who will guide you. And there are both good and bad, which good and bad things which will happen in business. And facing a client, sometimes it will be very good, sometimes it will be bad, right? So there you should always set up a process, because this process, setting up a process, which I learned was very late. So in fact, it took after 5 years where I understood that there should be a system where we should follow it. So there are something called SOP, which most of the company follows now. But when I started a business, maybe it would have been, but I was knowing it very late. So if you could follow some standard process into your business, any kind of challenges uh, that happens in your business can be easily tackled. So this is one way which from my experience I would say that
Absolutely.
is.
One moment in your with your client or with someone which was memorable for you, which you would never forget. Probably when you look back at it, it gives you a big learning lesson.
There are so many.
Yeah.
So there are so many of my clients whom we met, and they could teach us some administration skill or something. Because as an architect, we get up. We used to work with so many contractors, right? So some of our clients were being a contractor. With their experience, they used to teach us how to manage the design during the execution. So how a complicated design can easily break down so simple and can be executed. And when we talk about client, I had so many clients who had inspired me in so many ways, like in terms of operations, in terms of execution, in terms of handling a difficult situation, either in the business and as well as in your life, and how to how to think, how to forecast yourself in terms of business, so that you will be more proactive in handling those problems even before it arises. So these are some of the things which I have learned from most of my clients. And if you ask me, things quite memorable event that happened between me and my client. One of my client, I have designed a boutique, and they used to welcome me with flowers and crackers and stuff like that. That was one event which happened. And the second one, when we have designed a project, we become a part of their family. So any event that happens in their family, we used to participate. And if we don't, they used to call us so forcefully. They say, no, no, you should be here on this
Okay.
day for our invite. So these are some of the things which
Motivate you to become
motivated.
better.
And also it is like very good when you've been invited by a client who was your business partner, and now they were like inviting you like a family member. So this is something which was very happiest moment which I felt during my course of business
Understood.
journey.
That's nice. So the next question is, over the years, I have observed that successful companies often have a distinctive trait that sets them apart. What unique aspect of ISRA designs would you dedicate, for your success, so that our audience knows that that's a crucial part for their growth?
We started being very micromanaged management company now.
Okay.
So
By
that was
micromanaging, as in you manage everything on a minute level and
in
bring
a
in the
minute
money.
level, but in a very simple way. We had started setting up a system where the everyday office operations being recorded, and it was very easy for you to understand what is happening, and if there is something which you need to get into and make some modifications, or you can actually handle the situation very easily.
Yeah.
So now, ISRA design was earlier. It was like you don't know how it was like a single person company where I decide everything. But today, I myself started setting up a standard process. So even today, what happened, what decision I made, I have to think whether the process is right or not. So that was very easy for me to understand the the operation, and the team was able to understand me, and it is very easy for me to run the show even when I'm not here. So earlier I used to travel a lot, but I found it is quite tough to manage the projects and office. But today it is very easy, and you know what will happen when, and you can confidently say that this will happen today, this will happen tomorrow. Sometimes if there is a prolonging design deliverables, you know why it is getting prolonged, what is the reason behind it, and the recording system that we do and we send it to our client, we know what we have delivered for the project. See, so now we are more confident on scaling up. Earlier it was not so. Now we have this scaling up strategy, how we can go big.
That's interesting. So, Shawal bhai, I also understand that you have done quite a few international projects. So, can you just let us know which countries you have done and how did you, manage to do an international project staying from India? How cumbersome was it to move from India to that country, and how did you manage the entire project being from India?
I have done a project in Moscow in
Wow.
2015.
Okay.
So that was an very interesting moment. I myself couldn't understand whether that project will be for me or not,
Mhm.
but client was very confident on me to give the project. So only for one reason, because the client had so much of trust on me. I was able to do a very good uh, um, uh, some of very good creative designs, and I was able to execute the project in along with them. So there were more collaboration which happened locally over there, and I had got a good amount of uh, what to say good amount of support from the client, it's them. So I used to procure material from German, or if I say something I have to take it from Italy, Finland, or I have to take something from India, Indonesia. They were ready to take it up, and only thing is they will brainstorm with us whether that is really required to take it up, and they will also work along with you, so that they will tell you if this material has to come here. Logistically it will take 40 days or 38 days, and how our project will uh, be affected, whether because we had some strict budget and also strict timeline to work on the project. And uh, the experience that I had was a very early stage of my career as well. So I was like starting my career, and next year I was able to do an international project, and I was able to that credit completely goes to the client who was supporting me with my design. And you say, okay, this design, okay, okay, we will do this. It is very easy. So it was very helpful for me to go ahead with the design.
That's interesting. So one project in Moscow, and any other international projects which you have done?
We are still doing project in Dubai. We are throwed up concepts there. We have earlier been tied up with a contractor who we used to give designs, and he used to execute it. And apart from that, we have done in Sri Lanka and Malaysia.
Wow.
It's all interior projects. So and you have a challenge of doing an architectural project there. So maybe in future, because now we have more collaborations with more architects abroad, and we have been talking with one architect in Bahrain. I think he's a very he's been there for like 35 years, and he wants to get in touch with us because we are more creative, and we can also deliver the project little faster than what he has today. And we have a team. We have a team where we can go and we can support him in for the project management. And today we are trying to pitch for so many projects, not only in Dubai, but also in London. And we have received one project from the Caribbean island, and
Wow.
we have just given the proposal to them, and we are still waiting for the pitch to get okay from the client
That's
side.
quite interesting, being in India to be able to work with different countries in different corners of the world. May God bless you with tremendous success. I recently came across some information about you that you had done one of the most fastest projects in the heart of Chennai city. I don't know whether I can take the name of the project or not, but somewhere around Kaveri Hospital, right in the middle of the
Okay.
Chennai city. And that was a very interesting story, which I heard that you had finished the entire project in 40 some days,
No, it was a 70 days project.
70 days.
It
Okay.
was a shell structure which was given to us, and we was able to complete the entire exterior and interior for a jewelry client.
Okay.
And it's still there, but the client changed. The particular project is being handed over to the some other property, but the client had given us freedom in terms of design and execution, where we were able to exhibit it execute it very faster. And again, the support from the client was very good.
Yeah, because fascinating 70 days ago. I remember seeing that building. I was
I
awestruck when I was crossing the press. Suddenly,
Yes,
one day it was there. Suddenly, I was suddenly went to some other building, and overnight it felt like everything changed.
correct. True, because there is a team of around 20 people who have been working day and night. Apart from that, there are contracting labors, where there were 300 people who
Wow.
have been
How
working
many square
for
feet was that tower
the
which
entire building was around 8,500 square feet, and
8,500 square feet,
7,000 to 8,500 square feet.
and completely in 70 days?
70 days, yeah.
Oh wow. Okay,
The
so there
shell
was a
was there, so we were able to. We have done entire electrical, plumbing, marbling, exterior and interior. We have done a facade. We have done, and you could see that building as an interesting. element, which is a clock tower.
Mm.
That is an interesting one, and the clock being installed by one of the famous clock vendor. He used to give the same kind of clocks to Malaysian Brunei King's Palace and Malaysian King's Palace, something like that. So he's a very prominent guy who had delivered us the same clock for us in 15 days, I guess. It was very fast.
Interesting. I also understand that you're very diverse with your scope of projects which you do. You do residential, you do commercial, but very recently you came across theatrical projects. How was the experience to do theaters for people and the concept? How did you approach it?
The theater project which I'm doing is still a confidential one, which I have not revealed to anyone else.
Okay.
And we are hoping that it will take another 2 to 3 months to the theaters to get completed. And it is multiplex which is coming up. But inshallah, if everything goes well, we will be able to reveal it after 1 or 2
Hopefully,
months.
absolutely. We want our audience to understand how you approach multiple creative scope of work which comes to you. Very recently, when we were doing, our team was doing some research, we realized that you work on a very unique model called BIM. And could you help us understand what that is all about?
BIM is not an unique model. It is a technical um, support system for a building where any constructor will adapt. So it is not a new concept, and it has been there in the industry for the last 10 12 years. From 2005 6, if I'm not wrong, it is there. And it recently it has got so adaptable by everyone in India, because there are so many architects and engineers who started learning BIM today. And I had opportunity to learn BIM in 2006-7 during my second third year
Wow.
college. I was learning it in the CAD center in Pursevakkam.
Okay.
I think there is one tutor who started teaching me in ArchiCAD. That is a different software which started with BIM, and today people are working with Revit. So I was able to learn things very faster. So I was able to adapt from ArchiCAD. Then I started trying out the same BIM in SketchUp. I started working out the same BIM model in Revit. Now today we have collaborated with young architects and engineers to deliver the BIM to quite few other offices. So we are also in touch with few architects in the city. We also collaborate for BIM. So we have been providing BIM for their projects. Apart from that, we have started BIM initially with our project. So even though we are not actually committing to deliver BIM to the clients, we started developing BIM for ourselves, and we tried out the we started doing a research on it, whether the BIM works out rightly. So if there is some technical issues detailing, so we want to reveal it before, so that we want to understand the technical aspect. We want to make all those standards within us, and then we started revealing it one by one. So today we have certain process in doing a construction. So today we are doing more design projects than earlier, and it was very easy for us to deliver details easily for the contractors, so that they can execute the project through BIM. So that is why we adapted BIM to our office, and also we started giving them to our fellow collaborators.
Interesting. One of the most challenging things about the industry is the payments and the finances. So, how do you manage clients when it comes to them being spontaneous, or them being continuous with their efforts in terms of finances and everything else?
So you need to understand two things. This is why I said you need an entrepreneur mindset and learning, where you need to have a process. If you are very good at process and strong at your process with and the deliverables, so your payments will have no issues in it. So, and when you are good at marketing, and your marketing in terms of your result. So when you say that you have done this with confidence, and people started coming to you with the same confidence. And when you promise them and give them the same deliverables, I think during those process of deliverables, it is very easy for you to interact with the client and take the payment. And there are quite few challenges which is happening in the industry, but we are trying to adapt newer solutions to being more stronger in our fee structures and payments and um, vendor payments and stuff, things like that. So it is a different scenario altogether. You need more of an entrepreneur financial learning, where it will teach you how to handle the finances every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Advice taken.
I think you should be knowing it because you are also into the same
I
industry.
mean, absolutely, I do agree. It's one of the most challenging things which we face, and that's exactly why I asked you this question, because I really appreciate the thought process, the experience you come from, and I've also learned a lot. But very recently, when we were having one of the discussions, I was very surprised to see you were quite fascinated and interested to understand metaverse and see how you can be a metaversical architect, which was very interesting, and that shows the way you think and how you like to be ahead of the trend. So a little bit about what you think about metaverse, and how do you think the future of the metaverse would be when it comes to architecture? Would you think it will have some effect, or do you think there'll be some synergy or something like that?
I can I Metaverse, because of a new trend which is happening here today, and AI is one of the AI, AR, VR. We have already tried out AR and VR in our firm. We have collaborated. We have started experimenting it and started delivering it to our clients. In fact, so we want to try out Metaverse and AI. Then I think the way that you see the project and you want to deliver it, Metaverse, it's a different scenario. It's like it is I think it needs more time for you to become a metaverse architect, because the metaverse is not completely adapted by people today. I think it will take some more
Absolutely.
time. But I had this learning desire to understand what is AI, what is metaverse, and things like that, so that I can also be one of a person who will be earlier into that industry from my architecture background, so that we can do something
Very fair.
innovative. So that is why I want to learn it and I want to experiment it out. But what, to my knowledge, if there is an AI, AR, VR, but for me, if the client needs something, even though you have AI, VR, AR, only a human mind can
The
give
result.
that flexible solutions very spontaneously, is what I think.
Absolutely.
So even AI is there, but you can be more faster and you can give them a better solutions with your experience, is what I feel from compared to metaverse. But we should learn metaverse and we should try it out. So that is another aspect which I
Absolutely. I
feel.
mean, really appreciate the sharpness of your and your excitement towards learning new things. Last, just two, three questions probably, and over the year, having interviewed various industry leaders, we see that a lot of industry leaders have a common trait. What do you feel you have learned from the architects, senior architects in your industry, a common trait which you feel is a big factor for your success, for an architect's success?
They are very strong at their design. They are very strong at their design, and they are very confident in expressing their design as a building. So see, I have seen so many architects building, and the architects, and how the process of design that takes them. So I was very fascinated when I meet architects, senior architects. I can name some. I have met Hafiz Contract, who's one of the famous architect in India. And apart from him, I have met Oscar and Ponni, because I had been there as an intern for quite few time, very less time. I could say that Oscar sir is one who have sat next to him, and I have seen he used to give multiple options over the sketches. And the power of visualization that he has, the power of expressing the design is what really matters to make it big in the industry.
Wow, I mean that should be a very valuable lesson for a lot of people who are listening in the architectural field. Our listeners, whom are budding architects as well, and entrepreneurs, often are seeking advice from successful figures like you. So, what guidance would you offer them, or what would you give them as a leading advice to create a strong impact in the architectural field, considering how fast it's changing and how competitive it is?
I think the young architects who are coming up after graduating, if they are into the industry, they want to pursue this career, and either they are working for someone or they start their own, they should always have a mentor
Okay.
to throughout their journey. They can have a collaboration with seniors, the experienced architect, but the mentor can really give them a fantastic career path and guidance. So you are aware of these business entrepreneurs who have coaches, right? Who keep having mentors for
Correct.
themselves. So I think if you want to be successful, you should have a mentor.
And what is that the youngsters should look in a mentor specifically? Because
If they two things they can have, if they like a style of a mentor, if they like a style of an architect, and second thing is how they wanted to pursue, and they have already been identified that they have done
okay,
this. So if you are very interested in doing resort projects, and you have found an architect who does only resort and very creative resort, and you want to learn the art of making such resorts in future, either you should go and work with him for quite some time, learn the skills, learn the process that he design, how this the way he presents, the way he present the design to the client, solving the problem during the execution, project execution. So you need to see all these things, and then you can take him as a mentor, and you can also in future you can collaborate if you are starting by your own. To even today, after it's been 10 years since I started this project, this office, and even today I have few mentors who keep guiding me my in my projects. I have a mentor called Chandru. Is an architect. He owns a firm called Chandar and Associates. He's very good at residential architecture. So if when you sit with him, when you talk with him, you will gain so much of knowledge, the experience that he had. So if you are bored, or if you are depressed, or if you had a
low day. Yeah.
something, and if you just call him, he will give you very lovable speeches with more what he has done when he was in 20s, 30s, 40s. So it was very nice, and I used to travel with
Wow.
him for quite few projects. So we used to talk more about the architectural way of handling clients, doing projects, visualizing things. So like that, you should have a mentor.
Excellent. I mean, that's something which our youngsters should have for sure. Signing off, question. Where do you see the architectural industry in the next 5 or 10 years? How do you see it's moving towards, where it's moving towards?
I think now in India, your future is futuristically architectural projects are so high, and next 5 years you don't have to worry about it. But if you see us in the way of personal skill development, I think after your graduation, you should go around, learn the new things from abroad, from different countries, and then you should try to implement them in India, because now India has growing up so faster, and the economy started boosting. I mean, the economy is growing so high, and the buildings that they are coming up with, which is massively big. Like earlier, there are very few airports, but today, if you see airports, metro projects, smart cities, and the way that the developers coming up with projects, the way the city is getting developed, the area of the city is getting expanded. So if you could see that your future is so high, positively very high. So I think not only for next 5 years, you can easily judge how your future is going to be, but you need to take which direction you are going to go,
Correct.
either in residential, commercial, like any like resorts, hospitality, only hospitals. There are so many hospitals which is coming up
Mhm.
now. As you know, in city in the last 3 4 years after COVID also, I could see so many hospitals, so many commercial properties being turned into an nursing homes, multi-specialty hospitals, and there are so many hospitals which is coming up, pharma companies which is coming up, industries which is coming up. So after China, India has been given an opportunity to open up so many industries. So your future in India is very good.
Really appreciate your feedback and all your valuable advice to us as well as our audience. And I wish you all the very best on your all your future endeavors. And
Thank
I
you so
really
much.
look forward to see Sir Designs, one of the leading architectural companies in India as well as in the world as well. Having said that, we would just bring out a snippet of our interview today, and we will also give it to you so that you can share it for your audience as well, who can understand the brief crux of what you have shared as a valuable advice for architects. And we look forward to have a similar session with you on different lines of creativity very soon, inshallah.
Sure.
Thank you so much for your
Inshallah.
time, Shalbhay, and all the
Thank you.
very
Thank
best.
you.
Thank you so
Shukran.
much.
See you.
Take care.
Bye.
You
Have a
too.
great day.